Hey guys, it's Sammy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 30th of June 2021 to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite. It's not the final AEW Dynamite in Jacksonville and Daly's Place for a while because they're going to come back. I want to say, hold on, AEW schedule. I want to say they're coming back to Daly's Place in just a couple of weeks. They are coming back. Oh, it's farther out than I thought. They are coming back. I know they announced, well, it's not on their website, but they stated tonight they'll be back for the AEW Homecoming show. And I thought they said it was only in a couple of weeks, but I guess not. AEW Homecoming. Maybe they didn't. I don't know when that next Homecoming show is, but Excalibur did state we will be back in Daly's Place for AEW Homecoming, but I didn't catch a date for that. So if anybody did catch a date for that, let me know in the live chat or in the comments below. But for a while at least, this is the last time that AEW will be emanating from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Next week, they go back out on the road. They've got, I want to say, 4 themed shows coming up. Let me pull that calendar back up for AEW. They've got 4 themed shows coming up. Next week in Miami will be AEW Road Rager. Then in Cedar Park, Texas, which is near Austin, Texas, is Night 1 of Fighter Fest. The following night in Garland, Texas, which is near the Dallas-Fort Worth area, will be Fighter Fest Night 2. And then in Charlotte, North Carolina, on July 28th, they will be, Charlotte, North Carolina for Fight for the Fallen. And that's the 28th. Oh, hold on. July 28th. Nothing on, there's no August 4th show listed on the AEW calendar. I wonder where that show is going to take place from. That's very interesting. No August 4th edition of AEW Dynamite. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, Alexis, yes. Yes, that video they played at the end of the show saying thank you to Jacksonville and Daly's Place and all that. That was a perfect video. And then they showed Brody. And they showed the Brody tribute show. And then there was a spot where they just zoomed in and it was Brody's eyes. And I go, I can't watch the Brody show. Especially the end with Amanda and little Brody going down to the ring and all that stuff. I can't watch it. Tried to watch it once since. And again, got emotional. August 4th, my bad, not 6th. Huh? What are you talking about, Gillart? August 6th. No, it's August 4th. I just literally looked at a calendar. Because they have the July 28th show, which is Fight for the Fallen in North Carolina. And then the next thing they have is Dynamite in Pittsburgh, but that's the 11th. So, if I look at my calendar here, they need to announce something for the 4th, August 4th. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. Also, I want to thank you for joining me on YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either by hitting that donate button down below or hitting that, why can't I think about it? Donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Sorry, I was still looking at the AEW schedule. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription like Rosario did recently, or you can subscribe for no extra cost to you with Amazon Prime and Prime Gaming if you already paid Jeff Bezos for that Prime Video or Prime Shipping. If you pay for either of those, then Bezos, he gives you $5 free for Twitch and says, spend it to support any channel you want. It's money that if you don't use is going to go to waste anyway. So you might as well link your Amazon account to your Twitch account and use that free. When I say free, I mean no extra cost to you. Prime Gaming account on us. On the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out in the live chat with a super chat or a super sticker donation. Also, remember, you can help us out by becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to non-news videos, early access to exclusive news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to a bunch of other things. You get a badge next to your name and an emoji as well. Also, remember, you could directly support us by heading over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. But with that, we've got Dynamite to talk about that kicked off with Chris Jericho joining commentary. They waited for the show to start before Jericho came out because they knew we'd get the Judas entrance. Everybody's singing. Jericho soaked it in, and then he joined commentary. They did a 4-man booth for the entire show. Then we got the Young Bucks against Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo. And the Young Bucks came out with new facial hair. Basically, I don't know how... I don't even know. I don't even know where to go with this. I was going to try and make a joke, but then I saw it in my head and I go, that ain't that funny. But, correct me if I'm wrong. More times than not, especially over the last couple of months, when there's a Young Bucks match on AEW Dynamite, it opens the show. A lot of times, they open this show with a Bucks match. Now, correct me if I'm wrong there, but I don't remember the last time that the Bucks were on a Dynamite and not in the opening match. Also, I don't remember the time that the Bucks were on any fucking show, Dynamite nor a pay-per-view, and there wasn't some sort of a run-in from either Brandon Cutler, fucking Doc Gallows, or Carl Anderson. And it's getting old. There's two, if I have one criticism of this show, and I really, really enjoyed the show. If I have one criticism of this show, so much overbooked shit. Run-in after run-in. Or the match is over, but we still got to do something to get somebody over. Big bump. Like, just let a match end and be done. Stuff doesn't need to happen after every single match. You have what's called rankings. So, you can just give a guy a win and say, that was a great win by so-and-so. That should really help them bump up in the rankings here in All Elite Wrestling. There doesn't need to be something after every damn match. Since I says Umbrella freaking Kenny has the same freaking facial hair also. Kenny did that Triple H Lemmy mustache where sides come down and then it goes up and here. And he called himself the King. We know what he was doing. We know what he was doing, calling himself the fucking King. We're not dumb. He had the Triple H facial hair and called himself the King. Kudos to you, Kenny Omega. Kudos to you. But as far as this match does go, I really did. Since I says Bell, they took a mockery of Stone Cold with the facial hair. What are you talking about, Stone Cold? Huh? Nobody had Stone Cold facial hair. Not on tonight's show, at least. But anyways, the match itself as a match, really, really good. Young Bucks, Eddie Kingston, Penta. It was Kingston and Penta who did pick up the victory, but Penta had the early advantage. And, well, actually, no, Kingston had the early advantage. He scored a couple of near falls. Penta then tagged in and hit a diving drop kick to Matt's posterior. He went for the Fear Factor DDT, but Matt shoved him into the Bucks' corner, and they took control. Penta slid to the outside and hit a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Matt before taking out Nick with a diving crossbody and tagged in Kingston. Kingston then ran wild on the Bucks and hit a fisherman suplex on Nick for a 2. He hit the kitchen sink, but was pulled to the floor, where he took out Matt with another suplex. Kingston turned around and hit a soccer kick on Nick. The Bucks hit a double splash on Kingston on the floor and got a nice spray down from Brandon Cutler. After commercial break, the Bucks beat down Kingston with frequent tags in and out. They hit repeated kicks to Kingston's back, but Kingston fired up and laid in chops on both Bucks. They, though, overwhelmed Kingston with a numbers advantage and hit a cheap shot on Penta on the apron. Kingston fought out of a double team and left Nick stranded on the top rope. He laid in repeated headbutts and took Nick down with a superplex before reaching Penta for another hot tag. Penta used a Cazadora to propel himself into a DDT and then hit a code red for a close near fall. Going forward, Penta and Nick exchanged some strikes. The former hit a super kick and caught one from Nick, but Nick hit a low blow when the referee wasn't looking. The Bucks then went for the Lucha Bros Fear Factor finish, but Kingston broke up the pin just barely in time, like almost fucked that up. Kingston would then hit an exploder on Nick, but hit a series of super kicks to take him out. Penta then drop kicked Nick to the floor, and the Good Brothers distracted the referee. Penta avoided the cold spray from Brandon Cutler, and Cutler sprayed it in Matt's face. So Cutler's going, and he sees that he's spraying Matt, but he doesn't stop. And on commentary, I think it may have been Jericho that goes, why doesn't Cutler just stop spraying? And I go, because he has no logic. All of a sudden, Frankie Kazarian runs out and takes out Cutler. Because, Frankie Kazarian's just a knockoff Yoshitatsu, basically. Back in New Japan, Yoshitatsu was the Bullet Club hunter. Now, Kazarian is the Elite Hunter. Who the hell cares about a fucking gimmick stolen from Yoshitatsu? Yoshitatsu! You took your gimmick from him. And nobody cares, Frankie. Anyways, Penta took out everybody with a tope con grillo before the Fear Factor, and a spinning back fist allowed him to pick up the victory. Kenta and Penta acknowledged Kazarian after the match. So in the back, Christian and Jungle Boy were there. I think Marco was already there as well. Christian said that he's proud of Jungle Boy, and that Jungle Boy took him to the brink. He said Jungle Boy is going to be a champion, but first, he's going to become the first AEW wrestler with 50 wins. I didn't even know something like that was coming. But kudos, because right now you may think, it's not a big deal. But in the future, it might become a big deal. The Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt appear. And I thought Luchasaurus was going to get mad at Christian because he's like, yeah, what are you doing? And I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, thank you for having Christian's Jungle Boy's back. And I'm like, why is he doing a fucking raspy accent thing? And then he just starts talking. He's like, we'll have your back if you need us. And I was like, okay, cool. Luchasaurus. Speaking of Luchasaurus, 1 week from tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Big Brother. Yes, 1 week from tonight, Big Brother comes back. Why do I say speaking of Luchasaurus? Because fucking Luchasaurus was on Big Brother back in the day. I want to say 2014? Could be wrong about that one. But yeah, I can't wait. One of my favorite shows ever. But regardless, we're talking about AEW. So the Men of the Year, which is such a fucking stupid name. Like how they're the Men of the Year. So what are they next year? Still the Men of the Year? Like you got to call them still the Men of the Year? Because they're the Men of the Year in 2021. Are they still going to be the Men of the Year in 2022? Fuck it. Stupid name. Anyway, Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page. They come down for an interview with Shivani where Page speaks about why he chose a coffin match for Darby Allin. He says that he's tried different ways to physically take out Darby, but none of it works. He threw him down the stairs. He threw him in the crowd. Now, time for emotion, to emotionally take out Darby. The crowd's booing him and stuff, and he tells him, shut up. He eventually said he's been doing this. He said what he's been doing was not enough. His goal is to exterminate Darby Allin. He said Allin keeps coming back. He can't even cripple him. It doesn't work. So the coffin match is where the mental game comes into play. Lights go out. Sting's music hits. Jericho yells, it's snowing. So Caliber has to put that line in. It's dropped 50 degrees here in Jacksonville right now. So the video plays of Darby Allin, I guess, building the coffin and torching it up. Sting's pulling the coffin out on the ramp. Darby jumps out of the coffin and jumps into the ring to attack the men of the year. Sting just slowly makes his way into the ring as they're trying to double team Darby. Sting grabs Scorpio Sky, hits him with the Scorpion Deathlock. Jericho calls it one of the most popular moves ever, one of the most known moves in all pro wrestling, Shivani. Allin then gouges Page's eyes as he's got him in a chokehold on his back. Page then rolled to the floor and said, you know what? You can't beat me at 100%, can you? You had to come out here and attack me before our match next week? No, that match, it's not happening. How about this? We make a contract that says the week before a match that we have, you can't touch me the week before. And I'll agree to have this match at Fight for the Fallen. Or I think he said no. I can't remember if he said, I didn't write it down. But he either said Fight for the Fallen or Fighter Fest. One of the two. But he says the stipulation is you can't touch me the week before. And I guess Darby said he's okay with it. Cool, whatever. I don't know. Kind of a stupid stipulation where it's like this match is supposed to happen next week, the coffin match. And then they're just like, we want to push it back. So we're going to do a thing where Darby touched him. Darby attacked him, so we can't do the match yet. Like, again, kind of overbooking shit, which is kind of AEW's forte. So, going forward before the next match, Matt Hardy said that he was sending Jack Evans after Jungle Boy for stepping in Hardy's business. When the fuck did Jungle Boy step in Hardy's business? Hardy Boy's the one that got all over fucking Jungle Boy's business. Demon Joker says Fight for the Fallen. Gotcha. So that would be the end of July. Hardy says he doesn't care if Evans wins or loses. He just wants him to hurt Jungle Boy. He said, if you cross Hardy, you have to pay. And I'm like, okay. And we knew Jungle Boy was going to win here because not only did they do the thing earlier where they go, if you win, you get your 50th win, but they said it probably 50 times during this match. So they performed some chain wrestling to start it off. Jungle Boy surprised Evans with a snapmare early, or a snare trap early. But Evans quickly reached the ropes. They tried comparing Jungle Boy to Jericho by saying, it's good that he got a submission and that he can use that to win matches, just like you, Chris. Evans came back with a leaping kick, but Jungle Boy turned around and hit an arm wringer with a ring-bound arm drag and a kip up ahead of a commercial break. After the break, Jungle Boy hit a series of running offense moves, including a running dropkick and a big lariat. He then caught a spinning kick from Evans. They fought on the top rope. Evans slipped out, and Jungle Boy flipped out of a German suplex attempt and locked on the snapmare for the submission victory. Then what happens? Well, it's AEW, so of course, the Hardy family office runs out after the match. But Christian and the Jurassic Express make the save. Christian hits a reverse DDT on Matt Hardy in the ring and choked him out with his suit jacket. Evans tried to get involved, but Christian fought him off as well. Again, it's AEW. No match can just end. There's got to be shenanigans after. All right, so I did write it down in my notes. August 4th, they will be back at Daily. I knew they said soon they were coming back, so I did write it down in my notes. August 4th, they're back at Daly's place for Homecoming. That's it. I was like, I know they said soon, but I did write it down. Okay, cool. I just couldn't remember it off the top of my dome earlier. Then, as I also wrote down here, Excalibur did note, quote, this will be the last time that we're at Daly's place for a long time. Since I said it's not stupid, the Men of the Year, it's pure genius. Like, it's not stupid. How dare you, Tim? I think it's a dumb name. The Men of the Year. Really? The Men of the Year. That's just as dumb as, what's that other group they've got? The Wingmen. Like, you call yourself the Wingmen, and we already know you're just nothing jobbers. Because a wingman is the sidekick, the extra guy that tags along. Anyways, Andrade El Idolo is interviewed by Alex Abrahantes. No, I skipped a spot. MJF addresses Chris Jericho. He said he's outclassed Jericho week after week, both in the ring and on the mic. He told Jericho, call it quits. and listed all Jericho's transgressions against him. Jericho, he says, used to be cool, but now he's a joke. Next week, he will announce a list of steps for Jericho to get one last match with him. And I go, so they're just doing the Cody thing all fucking over again. Really? Really? Remember when MJF said, I've got 3 stipulations for you, Cody? If you would abide by these 3 stipulations, I'll give you a match at Revolution. It was like he had to take beating, like 10 whippings or whatever. He couldn't touch MJF, and I forget what the third one was, but yeah, since I hope they don't do the belt thing. I don't think they'll do the same steps, but it's kind of dumb that it's like, how the fuck does MJF have this much power in AEW where he can just go, oh, someone wants a match with me? Well, I got stipulations, and I can just say and do whatever I want. Like, if you don't abide by me, if you don't listen to my rules, you don't get it. Well, shouldn't Jericho just be able to go to the, as they call him, the GM of AEW, Tony Khan, and be like, Tony, give me MJF. And Tony Khan just go, okay. No. MJF's got to put steps on it. Like, we've seen this before. We don't need to see this again. It was cute when they did it before, and Cody took the beating with the belt, and Cody did it to honor his family and said, I got to take this beating because I got to get this match because Max disrespected not only me, but our family and the road's name and this and that and blah, 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 blah. So that was all good and well back then. But it's like, what are they going to do now? He's going to say, you can't touch me until we do this match, what, August 5th at All Out? You can't this, or I can this, or da-da-da. I don't even know. It's like, okay, if it's been years, that would be one thing. Because I know some people are going to go, well, WWE's redone storyline. Yeah, like 10 years later. They literally did this in 2019. It's been 2 years since they did this same thing. And with the same fucking guy. With MJF. So it's just like, 2 more years, he's going to be feuding with, I don't know, fucking Moxley. Or Omega's going to be a babyface by then. And he's going to be like, Omega, you want to fight me? Well, I've got 3 stipulations you have to abide by before you can get a match with me. You know? It's some stupid shit. Like, they're going to do this again. It's kind of dumb. So earlier in the day, Andrade took to Twitter and said, I got a big surprise tonight. And what was that big surprise? A letdown. Andrade cuts a promo saying, I was interrupted last week by Matt something. What's his name? He asked Abrahantes. He's like, oh, Seidel. And he was like, oh, yeah, Matt something, whatever. Well, next week I'm going to face him in my first match in AEW. I Road Rager. And I go, oh, well, that's not that big of a surprise. He keeps teasing that he's got some sort of a surprise. And that's it? That's his surprise? He said on some podcast or some interview that him and Vicky have a big surprise. And they tried to announce that surprise on Saturday. They were interrupted by Matt Seidel. So now he's got another surprise. Oh, fuck, he's going to fight Matt Seidel. Since Saturday, I was trying to use logic to stick up for AEW. Says, well, in all fairness, Tim, he has the Rand, the AEW ring. That gives him no fucking power. The ring means fucking nothing in AEW. If you try to say that the ring gives him power, get the fuck out. That ring means fucking nothing in AEW. Don't even get me started on that. I've already ranted on that in the past. This ring means fucking nothing. The Dynamite Diamond Ring, it gives you no goddamn power. Kenny Omega then comes out with a Triple H beard to be interviewed by Tony Schiavone. I think it was Jericho said, did he borrow the same razor from the Bucks? Going forward, Omega talked about how he stays motivated every single day. Today, he woke up feeling like a king because he's defeated all the biggest stars in AEW. He said now, the top young stars like Jungle Boy, and a top young star like Jungle Boy. He said there's nobody left. Time for him to take some time off. He goes, but don't worry. I hold titles in other companies, so if you still want to see me wrestle, you can watch me over there. And out comes Dark Order. And at first I go, oh, crap. Dark Order, really? What the fuck are they going to... And then all of a sudden I just go, oh, yeah, duh, Hangman. I like that they're finally, this is something I liked. They're finally planting the seeds for Hangman versus Omega. And I loved the way this went down. So Dark Order comes out. Evil Uno, the face of the Dark Order now or whatever, says, Omega, no, there is somebody else still to challenge you. You talk about people needing wins to go up the ranking. Well, there's nobody higher in the ranking than one man that you know very well. You know who I'm talking about. He's got enough singles wins to challenge you right now. The number one ranked competitor in AEW. You know who I'm talking about, Kenny. He never says his name. And Kenny goes, well, if you're talking about the same person I think you're talking about, he's not going to like you coming out here speaking for him. He doesn't want you to speak on his behalf. And if you have to, that means he's got no guts. Omega said that he doesn't think that he has the rights to take his belt. Omega said, quote, goodbye and good night. No Hangman. Yeah, but I don't watch BTE since Saturday. A lot of people don't watch BTE. I've kind of gotten over BTE. I can't stand BTE, to be completely honest. I can't. BTE is a shit show to me. I fucking can't stand it. I'll watch it here and there, especially if I hear, hey, you might want to check this one segment off of BTE. It might be newsworthy. But other than that, I really don't watch BTE because it's god awful. It's not funny. And to me, I'm never entertained by it. Regardless. You shouldn't... Never mind. I'm not going to even say it. What I was going to say is you shouldn't be building stuff up on the internet show like that, on BTE. Everything should be built through Dynamite, and I thought this was the perfect time to really start building this. It was probably not going to get Omega versus Hangman till September 5th at All Out anyways. So yeah, they may have been teasing it previously on BTE, but they're teasing it early there where it doesn't really matter yet. On the back, Brian Pillman Jr. was talking about his match coming up with Miro. He told Miro to forgive him for not believing in the same thing as him because he doesn't have a lot of faith. He didn't have a lot of faith growing up. Didn't have a mom and pop there really for him. But now he's got Griff Garrison, who's like a brother to him. And now he's got to avenge Griff Garrison. He said Miro's nothing but a big bully and a big Bulgarian bitch. Mr. Bangs, you says, what is BTE anyways? BTE, being the elite. It started out as the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega vlogging their travels as pro wrestlers, whether that is in America or going to Japan. It started off as just a vlog. But ever since AEW's been around, it's now more of a sketch comedy show. They script out all these segments and sketches and stuff that's supposed to be super funny. And yeah, it to me is just not funny. Like 99.999% of BTE is just the cringiest fucking shit you'll ever watch. So next up, we had the TNT title on the line. Miro defending against Brian Pillman Jr. The match was fun. Pillman went right after Miro from the start, but Miro turned a ripcord into a Samoan drop. Miro effortlessly beat Pillman down with strikes and throws. Pillman got in a couple shots, but was crushed with a fall-away slam for his troubles, leading to a commercial break. Once we got back, Miro landed 9 clubbing blows, but Pillman countered the 10th. A springboard dropkick from Pillman sent Miro to the floor, followed by a diving dropkick. Pillman kept up the fight on the floor with repeated strikes. At one point back in the ring, Miro countered a springboard attempt, and Pillman had scouted, though, and landed repeated thrust kicks. Miro caught one of the kicks, though, and hit his signature high kick, and then another. He called for the game over and locked it on, wrenching the back of Brian Pillman Jr. Basically, eventually, the ref just stopped the match. And hey, Nothing happened afterwards. No shenanigans. No bullshit. And if we think about it, so far we've talked about 1, 2, 3 matches. 2 of those 3 had bullshit afterwards. I'm going to keep a tally. Keep a tally. The bullshit after a match tally. So next up, we had Britt Baker and Rebel against Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero. This was horrendous. Just god-awful. So Guerrero got in Rebel's face and yelled, "Excuse me," before the bell, so Baker took her out. Rebel went for a sleeper on Rose, who fought out easily. Reese beat down Rebel in the ring ahead of a commercial break. Once back, Rebel rolled up Rose for a 2, and Baker made the tag. She hit a sling blade. Rose went for a beast bomb, but Baker flipped out and kicked Rose down. Baker got the glove, but Rose hit a big choke slam. Too much of Britt Baker hitting moves and Nyla just not selling it. Rose then draped Baker over the ropes and hit a diving knee, but Rebel broke up the pin. Vicky tagged in, and Rose went to the top rope, but Baker pushed Guerrero into Rose, sending her to the floor. Baker then locked on the lockjaw on Vicky, leading to the submission victory. And what happened after the match? Bullshit. After the match, Nyla Rose would attack Britt Baker, hit her with the beast bomb. Vicky then set up a table outside. Nyla took Baker to the apron and powerbombed her off the apron through the table. Gotta always be something. Gotta always be something. AEW announced a slew of matches taking place next week on AEW Dynamite, or as they're calling it, Road Rager. First off, we will get a face-to-face standoff with Chris Jericho and MJF. MJF will name his stipulations for Jericho eventually getting a match against him. In the first ever AEW mixed tag team match, Orange Cassidy will team with Chris Statlander to take on the team of the Blade and the Bunny. Andrade El Idolo will be making his AEW in-ring debut when he takes on Matt Sydal. In 6-man tag team action, the Inner Circle's Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz, with their dog Conan in their corner, will take on the Pinnacle's Wardlow, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler, with Tully Blanchard in their corner. In a South Beach strap match, Cody Rhodes will go one-on-one with QT Marshall. And finally, with the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line, the Young Bucks will be defending their titles against Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo. Again, these matches have all been announced for next week's special edition of AEW Dynamite Road Rager, coming to us live from Miami, Florida. So during all of this, Jake Hager cut a promo saying that every time Pinnacle sees them, one of 2 things happens. 1, they get their ass whooped. Or 2, they get their ass whooped. As Hannah said, that they'd get their hands dirty next week. Give me 1 second, guys. They get their hands dirty next week. It's going to feel so much sweeter knowing FTR brought all the fight that they can. And they're going to bring their dog, Conan, with them. Ortiz just said, "You messed up." So then we got just a fucking holy crap, phenomenal, excellent match that had to have bullshit. 5 matches on tonight's card, and 4 of the 5 had bullshit, either after the match or causing to, or leading to the finish. Also, I forgot to remind you guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. And look at the top of the chat. There's a poll there to let us know what you thought of tonight's Dynamite. But this match between MJF and Sammy Guevara, holy crap, was the base of the match itself just freaking excellent. So MJF powdered to the floor right away. Just gets out of the ring. He He came back in and took down Guevara with a shoulder tackle before taunting. Guevara evaded with a taunt of his own. At this point, they said it about 10 times, but they started here. These two men, and I did and didn't like this. Like, these two men are the future of AEW. AEW is counting on these two men to bring AEW to the future and hold this company on their backs for years to come. And I go, okay, that's cool to say about Sammy. Fucking MJF's the heel, and you're putting him over as like this great savior of AEW in the future. Like, I don't know. I didn't like how much praise they were giving MJF for how good he is and how great he's going to be in the future. He's the fucking heel you're supposed to hate. Anyways, they both had each other scouted, leading to some quick counters until MJF hit a cross chop to Guevara's throat. Guevara came back with a knee strike, but MJF caught the GTH. They performed more chain wrestling before a series of cradles forced a break and a stalemate. And fucking Jericho even praised MJF for being an unexpectedly great athlete. This is the guy you're supposed to fucking hate, bro. Cool opening sequence in this match, though, regardless. Guevara would attack in the corner, but when the official tried to break it up, MJF used a distraction to poke Guevara in the eyes. Guevara fought back and went for the 630, but MJF rolled to the floor. Guevara pursued and threw MJF back into the ring and hit a double springboard cutter for a 2. MJF swept out Guevara's legs on the apron and sent him into the barricade on the floor. Guevara then seemingly hurt his knee here. This led to a commercial break. Once back, Guevara went for a baseball slide, but MJF caught him in the ring skirt and attacked. Guevara then fought out of a powerbomb and sent MJF back into the ring, but MJF turned a springboard into a powerbomb for a 2. They fought on the top rope where Guevara hit a Spanish fly. Guevara made a comeback with clotheslines and an enziguri, followed by a diving kick. Guevara clotheslined MJF to the floor. Guevara skinned the cat. Did the Mick Foley clothesline. Both guys fly over the top rope, but he put his own spin on it by holding on to the top rope and not falling down as well. He then hit a great tornado dive. Back in the ring, Guevara then hit a destroyer for a 2. A leg trap cradle from Guevara got another 2. MJF guillotined Guevara over the top rope and grabbed a chair. Guevara drop-kicked the chair into MJF's face, knocking him into the stands. He followed up with the top rope senton bomb all the way over the barricade into the audience. Great spot. Would have been greater if I didn't see this spot 2 days ago with Ricochet and John Morrison. Like, I would have been more, holy crap. But I was just like, oh yeah, okay. I saw Ricochet do that 2 days ago. Cool. So to me, like, it was a great spot. I'm not going to take that away. That's a spot that's probably fucking, you gotta have hops. And I'm just like, I literally saw that on Raw 2 nights ago. And I can't even say, oh, they probably didn't even see that spot and just put it in their match, because that spot was all over Twitter. Anyways, Guevara eventually rolled MJF back into the ring. He went for the 630, but MJF popped up and pushed Guevara down using the ropes. He followed up with the second rope pile driver, or should I say tombstone, for a 2. A fucking second rope tombstone. You only get a 2 off of it. Should have been the finish. MJF was clutching his knee. After lots of waffling, MJF eventually made it to his feet, where he was cradled by Guevara for a good near fall. MJF went for the heat seeker, but Guevara pushed his way out of it. A sunset flip led to another cradle exchange. Guevara hit a thrust kick and then the GTH, but MJF's foot was on the ropes. Guevara went for the 630 once again, but MJF begged off. Guevara hit it anyway. Got another great near fall. Shawn Spears would then come out, so Jericho jumps off commentary. Jericho ran to cut him off when he was attacked by Wardlow up on the little upper deck area in front of the crowd. And then Wardlow's got Jericho in like a side headlock deal. He's holding Jericho and he goes, "Hey, ref! Hey, ref, look at me! Hey, ref, over here, look what I'm going to do!" And with the referee distracted, this leads to Shawn Spears cracking Guevara over the head with a steel chair. MJF barely crawled over, dead old MJF, threw the arm up. 1, 2, 3, MJF picks up the victory. I get it, MJF needed to win. That was a shitty finish. I hated it. Fucking AEW, not only is there bullshit in most of their matches, but they make their referees look so goddamn moronic. AEW referees are some of the dumbest, idiotic referees. They always make their refs look just dumb. Then afterwards, they say thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for everybody that has joined us here over the last however many months in Daly's Place in Jacksonville. We have a special video to thank and show you everything that we've gone through here in Jacksonville. And a great, stellar, perfect video package played. Showed some Brody Lee stuff. They showed the first promo. They opened this up with that first promo of Cody in the ring with the spotlight. Showed all different kinds of things from Daly's Place matches and pay-per-views, and it ends with a shot from like up above, behind, looking down at the ring and out at the crowd. I guess it was from Double or Nothing after Stadium Stampede when the Inner Circle all took that bow in front of the crowd, and that's how they end the video segment. Excalibur then tells us, next week we will be back live right here Wednesday night, our home on TNT. We will be bringing you Road Rager from Miami, Florida. And Jim Ross states, and I quote, get your tickets for next week's show at AEWTix.com. Hold on. I didn't write it down in my notes, but I've got it. He said, get your tickets right now for next week's show at AEWTix.com. There's nothing in your life that will top seeing a live WWE Dynamite. And I go, oh boy. And apparently, Jim Ross didn't correct himself on the air. He just kept on going with it and said, have a good night, folks. But Jim Ross did mention this on Twitter. Jim Ross stated on Twitter, and I quote, yep, I apparently made an ultimate error tonight at show's end. No excuses, and I'm not quitting. Just remember, this is the same guy that back in February said that Kenny Omega was the WWE champion. Just saying. But with that, guys, that was AEW Dynamite. Overall, a good show. Just, they need to get out of their own heads of overbooking everything. Everything is overbooked in this company. Like, they feel like you can't just end a match and end a match. Something has to happen. Sometimes a finish is just enough to, a guy got pinned. Like we saw, fucking Miro pinned Brian Pillman Jr., and that was it. Nothing had to happen after. But with that, guys, remember, if you want to let me know what you thought of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Well, first, let's check the polls. As far as the Twitch poll does go, wow, 100% of you on Twitch like tonight's Dynamite. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 70% of you liked Dynamite. 18% thought it was all right, and 12% did not like the show. As far as text messages do go, got a number of them. Where it says, who do you think should challenge Britt Baker for the AEW Women's World title? Well, the next challenger is Nyla Rose. I don't see Nyla Rose winning. And literally, there is not another woman in this company built up enough to be the challenger. Like, let me pull up the AEW rankings really fast. AEW rankings. Here we go. AEW rankings for today. Before tonight's Dynamite, Ty Conti was the number 2 ranked female in AEW. Thunder Rosa, number 3. So maybe Thunder Rosa gets a couple more wins. Here's the weird fucking thing. Here's what makes no sense to me, though. Nyla Rose ranked number 1, 16-2. Ty Conti ranked number 2, 17-3. Okay, I could maybe see that. She's got more wins, but she's also got more losses. But then ranked number 3, Thunder Rosa, 16-2. If you have the same record as the number 1, yet you're under the number 2, you're number 3, how the fuck do these rankings make any sense? They don't. The AEW rankings are the worst thing in AEW rankings are the worst thing in all professional wrestling. I'm going to say it right now. Because they make no goddamn sense. How can you be ranked 16-2 and be considered the number 1 ranked female? But then also have somebody else ranked 16-2 and consider them number 3. So what is a better record, Tony Khan? 16-2 or 17-3? Obviously, they're the same fucking thing. I was thinking to Jack Dawson for the super sticker donation. Really do appreciate that. But it's just like your rankings don't make any sense at all. At all. Like the men's rankings, they're fine. They're perfectly fine. Hangman 11-1. Orange Cassidy 10-1. Darby 10-2. Top 3, that's fine. Then you got Jungle Boy at 9-2. And you've got Matt Sydal 10-3. Okay. I could see that because he's got more losses than Jungle Boy. But for the women's thing, so is it that if you have more losses, you're ranked lower? If that's the case, Thunder Rosa should be number 2, not Ty Conti. I'm just saying. Also, I mean, fuck the rankings anyways, because all you got to do is just beat the champions and you get a tag title shot. Fucking Penta and Eddie Kingston ain't even fucking ranked. They do that shit a lot. Like, Moxley and Kingston were never ranked as a tag team, yet they got a tag title shot. Do away with these goddamn rankings. Please. They're the dirt worst shit in all of pro wrestling. The worst. This person says, best Dynamite ever. I can't want Andrade debut. And do you think it's going to be Hangman versus Kenny at All Out? Because I think it's Hangman's time as a champion. I don't see. So, yes, I think Hangman challenges Kenny for the title. Honestly, Hangman shouldn't be challenging unless he's getting the belt. But in saying that, do they really take the belt off Kenny already? I don't see. So Kenny won the title back in December. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. That'd be a 9-month run. I guess that's not bad. I guess that's really not bad. So I could see it. But I'm just saying, Hangman got that shot. He was in the first ever AEW World title match and fell short. And they played it up as he's still young and he's not ready for that position. But he has earned the opportunity. Wins after wins after wins. So I honestly think the next time he challenges for the title, he needs to win it. Because if Hangman loses again, you got to wait a while before he challenges again, which they've done. He didn't. They did that. They did that. They waited a long time before this. It's been almost, no, it would be 2 years. Almost, yeah, it would be 2 years from the last time he challenged for the title. So go for it. I say put the title on him. This person says, do you see Penta as a future AEW world? Nope, not at all. I don't see Pentagon at all as a future world champion in AEW. Nope. This says, I can't believe JR said WWE Dynamite. This person says, who you think should challenge for the TNT Championship, and do you think Young Bucks doing too much as a heel? Don't get me started on the Young Bucks as heels. I posted on Twitter the other day thinking I put might be an unpopular opinion, but the Young Bucks are. Hold on, can I pull the tweet up, or is Twitter still broke? I said it the other day. I'm like, Young Bucks are horrible heels. They try way too much. I think Twitter's still broke, so I might not be able to pull that tweet up. Oh, wait, no, let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see if I can find it. Where did I see? So I tweeted out, possible unpopular opinion, but I think the Young Bucks try too hard to be smarmy, unlikable heels, and I'm just not a fan of anything they do character-wise. Just my opinion. And I actually had more people than I thought like the tweet and kind of agree with me. It says, does John Moxley's and Hangman's contract still come up at the beginning of 2022? Well, I don't think Moxley's would come up at the beginning of 2022. He didn't actually leave WWE. So his contract wouldn't have been able to be signed till March of 2019. Hangman's contract, I believe, does come up at the beginning of the year. I don't know exactly when his does, but I would assume around January 2022. I haven't heard of any sort of contract extension, but there's going to be a number of AEW contracts coming up soon, like Chris Jericho. All those people, Britt Baker's contract's going to be coming up. I doubt she goes anywhere. Nyla Rose. Just a number of people. There have been some, like MJF, who they signed initially and then have already signed extensions to. I think MJF did the same. Did that. I think Joey Janela may have done that. So we'll see. Where it says, I think AEW should drop the AEW title to. Oh, okay. Wait. I think AEW should drop the AEW title to Hangman and the rest of his belt. Oh, you think, okay. This person says Kenny should just lose all of his titles. Versus lately, Kenny has been wrestling like I'm hurt, but I'm still gonna go. Kenny's been wrestling with a number of injuries recently. We reported on that not too long ago. It says, did they really try to one-up WWE, recreating Ricochet and the Ricochet Morrison spot with Guevara and MJF? Yeah, basically. Says, what do you think of Christian Cage, Matt Hardy's feud? I personally like it, and I can't wait to see them face off in the match. I could care less. These are guys fucking 10 years past their prime at least. At least. This does not need to happen. This is just... People bitch about WWE trying to capitalize on nostalgia and bringing in the legends and old guys. That's exactly what this bullshit is. Nobody cares about a Christian Cage, Matt Hardy match other than you. And no offense. If that's your thing, go for it. But the majority of people I've spoken to could care less. Person states, final text message. All storyline aside, do you think MJF and Sammy Guevara are futures? Yes. So do I think they're the future of AEW? Yes. I think the future of AEW, of course, Britt Baker, she's going to lead that women's division for a very long time. You've got MJF, you've got Darby, you've got Sammy. Those are the three guys. Jungle Boy. Those are the four guys. They're going to build this company around in about 4 to 5 years. I don't know how long it takes, but within the next 5 years, MJF will be a world champion. In the next 5 to 10 years, Jungle Boy will be a world champion. Maybe sooner, but I don't see Jungle Boy winning the world title within the next 5 years. MJF, very good chance. Sammy, at least not right now, I don't see Sammy as a world champion. Darby, I don't either. TNT title, him and Sammy, go for it. But I just don't see them at this moment right now world champions. Mainly the Sammy thing is because he's been Jericho's sidekick for so long. So he just seems like a guy, but a guy that's in a great position, if that makes sense. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember to join us this Friday, right here, same place, same time, for Friday Night SmackDown review, the review of Friday Night SmackDown. Also, remember to follow us on social media, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and follow us on Twitter at PW Unlimited. Also, remember to keep up with our website, pwunlimited.co. With that, guys, have a great night. Have a great Thursday. I'll see you back here on Friday. Have a good one. Oh.